Great to be here. Uh, I typically in conferences do not like to talk about products. I more like to talk about concept, but today is an exception because this is something very exciting for us. And the way it is going around is taking our passion to the next level literally every day. And I'll talk about it. So this journey more or less started about 2 years ago when we decided in JBS that we want to set up an innovation unit. Within a technology company. Possibly we are the first company in Pakistan to have set up an innovation unit within our organization. And we assigned 2-3 charters to them, and one of them was to solve a business problem. Something either that has not gotten the focus or something that has not been attempted. Either one of the two. And it could be a social problem, it could be a financial problem, it could be a business problem, and see if we can come up with something different, something, as I said, which did not get the desired focus, or something which is completely new. So the guy I was interviewing as part of the process to select the head of innovation, he came up with an idea during the course of interview, and he said, each one of us typically belong to the financial industry, so I'm sure all of us know the concept of ERP very well, enterprise resource planning. You can't run a business without it. It's as simple as that. You need to know from where your finances are coming, going, expenses, orders, inventories, and everything needs to be integrated. And he said, while the space for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 customers is fairly well covered with top branded products like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, but there is not a single branded product in the SME segment, which, as you can imagine, is the biggest segment of all, small, but nonetheless biggest. So if you think about any ERP product, and by the way, there are thousands of them, any ERP product for the SME segment, small and medium enterprises, you cannot come up with any branded product around the globe. Just like when I name ERP, you will come up with these 3 names that I took, but for SME segment, you don't have any. There are thousands of products, and each one is catering to a certain segment. And we liked the idea. And we said, it's a good idea, let's go ahead with it. We started developing the product, team of 7 or 8 young, committed, dedicated men and women started working on the product. For about 7-8 months, the product was taking shape, the structure was ready. Till about 1.5 years ago, we were having a brainstorming session in the organization about the future, about so many other things. And suddenly a thought came up that while there is ERP for business, there is also an ERP in every home. In every home, exactly the way things happen in business, it happens in home as well. In a home, you have revenue. You know, either you give it to your wife, or you run it yourself, or you give it to someone. In a home, you have expenses. In a home, you have savings. In a home, you have investments. In a home, you have orders going in. In a home, you have orders coming in. In a home, you give loans. In a home, you receive loans. All this happens in a home as well. But how does it happen today? In majority. Of course, the millennials are tech savvy. They move towards technology. They use Excel, maybe some app. But majority in our land and in our part of the world, not necessarily just in Pakistan, it happens either on chits, small pieces of papers, or diaries, or brain. Right? What if we are able to change this behavior and move them towards more documentation, more structure, which means they will be able to start doing things in a more structured way. And we also very strongly believe, everyone is talking about financial inclusion, you cannot achieve scale in financial inclusion till you go to the bottom of the pyramid, till you go to a student who spends pocket money in a structured way, till you go to a housewife and educate her to use structured way to invest and take revenue, till you go to a shop wala, a pan wala, a driver, a sabzi wala, anyone and everyone who deals with money. He needs to get rid of paper, and he needs to start thinking in a structured way and use more brain power to deliver his business faster or to run his life or businesses better. And this thought more or less changed our direction. And we started looking at the numbers, and he said, what sort of a market are we looking at? Ladies and gentlemen, when we started talking about the SME product, we never had Pakistan only as our market. So please do remember that. We always had global as the market, and our vision has not changed. So in that meeting, we said we are shelving for now the SME product. We are now going in with a home product. and we want to go ahead and take the challenge of transforming people behavior towards digitalization, as it will prove to be a catalyst towards financial inclusion. The principle is simple: if I have consumers, I'll have business. And if I'm getting consumers by solving one of their key pain points, chances are the businesses are going to come to me faster. So we started looking at numbers. So in Pakistan, if you look at the household, and this just to define the market so that everyone understands what sort of target market we are trying to cater, or we will attempt to cater at. 29 million households in Pakistan, and 2.1 billion around the world, right? So 31 million would be 2020. We looked at the projections, and this number globally will not go as high as Pakistan would be 2.2 billion. Number of internet users, because you need connectivity, and connectivity is more or less becoming ubiquitous. We have currently 32 million, but globally we have 3.3 billion internet users. And 2020, Pakistan number will jump from 32 million to 54 million, while the world, half of the world population will be connected by 2020. Now, the other important element in our attempt to address the market and what sort of size are we looking at was to look at the smartphone users today and the projection. So today, 38.5 million smartphone users in Pakistan, people who use apps to do business, and 2.3 billion smartphone users around the world, and this number is going to go to 84.1 million in 2020 in Pakistan. So more or less, we will double or more than double. And globally, this number again would be 50% of the global population by 2020. That's the market, each one of them, right? Every individual who has anything to do with money, we want him to use digitization. That's where financial inclusion is going to get interesting. Then the question came, what should be the name of the product, right? And of course, we wanted to come up with a name which is something that we pick up while we are addressing the global market. But interestingly, out of 8 billion people, close to 2 billion live in a part of the world where hisab kitab is a term that is used every day. More or less, each one of us use 2 or 3 times this term in our home, in our conversation. आपने किसी से हिसाब किताब करना है, आपने किसी का हिसाब किताब चुकाना है, आपने किसी का हिसाब कर देना है, वो ना करें. But this term is a very commonly term used. So we wanted to build a brand using this part of the world, and once we've done that, then we honestly don't care what the name is, right? So hence, we chose a Desi name or a local name which everyone can relate to. And we came up with this name. The vision, if you like, of the product is that anything that you do in home, we want this app to be the trigger point. Why? Because we are addressing or we are solving the problem of the consumer to track his finances. If he can do it with this app, then all he does just needs to be integrated so that his hisab kitab is always updated. That's the vision of where we want to take it. We want businesses to connect to us. We will have open APIs in the next few months, and we'll ask businesses to connect to us. As many as possible. Anyone and everyone in the world can get connected to our app. So with this more or less thought process, this app, we started developing that. After almost 1.5 years of effort, last year, October, we launched it. And what sort of pain points are we trying to address with this app? And these are, we picked some of the statements which typically happen with people, especially where there is limited income and you want to do more, right? And these are, और ये बहुत सारे ऐसे अल्फाज हैं या जुमले हैं जिन पे घरों में झगड़ा होता है, by the way, ठीक है? पता नहीं पैसे कहाँ चले जाते हैं. This is a very common term that you hear every day. We want to solve it. So next time someone says, पता नहीं पैसे कहाँ चले जाते हैं, आप कहिएगा हिसाब किताब, ठीक है? Next time someone says, पता नहीं हिसाब की पर्ची कहाँ रखती, क्योंकि we believe in पर्चीज lot more than, even diaries. Imagine आप किसी अगर if you go to a सब्जी वाला, उसके पास एक पर्ची है जो बहुत सारी क्लिप हुई है. वो पूरा उसका he runs his own whole business on पर्चीज, and then he doesn't find them. when he needs them. So next time someone says that, you know where to look for, right? महंगाई बहुत हो गई. This is, again, something common. हो गई या नहीं हो गई is a separate discussion, but we have to make this statement, right? खाएं क्या, बचाएं क्या? Every time someone talks about saving, you say, खाएं क्या, बचाएं क्या? You know, this is something which is, I think, the favorite of all the husbands. अभी तो पैसे दिए थे. You know, this is something which happens more or less every second or third day, the moment someone, the housewife comes and says, I need money to do something, and justified demand, but the immediate answer is not to give the money, but say, abhi to diye the paise. Next time it happens, idhar gaye paise, right? October last year, the product was ready for testing, and we launched the beta version only on Android. So what has happened, or what's happening? We haven't done any marketing. Today is the first time I'm talking to a close group about this product. We have not done more or less next to nothing marketing of this product. I'm sure majority of you have not heard it or have not seen it. But hopefully at the end of the presentation, all Android users will download the app and start using it, right? So what has been the uptake like? In the beta version, we are still in testing phase. We haven't released the Apple version yet, which will, inshallah, be launched on 15th April. And we are working on a couple of features before we go for the official launch in next 2 to 3 months, right? So far, we have 52,000 downloads of the app without talking about it, without telling everyone. That means people need this app, right? So far, 380,000 transactions have been recorded on the app. Out of 380,000, 110,000 just in this month, which is going on. And this 110,000 represent almost 170% increase from February, where the number of transactions were close to 73,000. Engagement is going up. People want to use the app. This doesn't end here. We are in good company. And in Pakistan, that's where we are. In the company of some very interesting and great products. That's where we are ranked today. We are still in beta. We still have not launched it. We still have not marketed it, right? I spoke about the fact that we want to make it global. I spoke about the fact that the vision is that we want this product to be the first Pakistan's global product, inshallah. And we absolutely believe in it as much as I believe that I'm standing here and talking to all of you. That's the level of commitment we have on this product, okay? If I look at where we are globally in terms of all the apps in this category, globally, and you can imagine there are thousands of such apps. Of course, our feature set, our simplicity is our USP, but the concept is more or less the same. Our vision is very unique, by the way. Our vision, we have not seen anyone in the world has the kind of vision that we have, and that's where I think we will have an edge as we move ahead. Today, we are amongst top 50 global apps in the world. Today, right? Yeah. If this doesn't surprise you, and this number has completely positively shocked us, right? I honestly don't know how it happened. We're still trying to figure out, but it happened. This is the number of countries where the app has been downloaded. 93, right? Today, okay? Out of 93, in 50 countries, people are using it. It doesn't matter what is the number. In some cases, 3, 4, 5. But that's the tough one. If I got to the 3 without talking about it, I'll get to the next 3. I'll get to the next 30. I'll get to the next 300. I'll get to the next 30,000. We will get there, right? Because without doing anything, people have started using the app all around the world, right? Of course, the biggest number comes from Pakistan, and that's not a surprise. So while there is a concept of financial inclusion, and we believe because we are addressing bottom of the pyramid, something nobody has attempted the way we are trying to attempt, globally I'm talking about, people have addressed only a segment of personal finance app, but nobody has come up with a vision that whereas I'm saying, anything you do at home, I want this app to be the launching pad. I want this app to take you forward to whatever you want to do at home. connected to IoT, connected to artificial intelligence, connected to your fridge and know how many eggs do you have in your fridge and when do you have to reorder. I don't care. I want this app to be the app for any home user, for any small business. I want a small panwala to have exactly the same power in his hand as a top executive of the country. I want a shopkeeper or thelewala to structure his life in a way so that he knows where his revenues are and what his expenses are, and he's able to connect to consumers in a way like never before. I don't care who you are. I want you to use it. My people ask me, who's your biggest competition? And of course, there are global apps. They are there, but inshallah, in next 5 years, we'll be amongst top 5 apps in the world, inshallah. But who's my biggest competition? Is it many of the apps which are available? Possibly. But my biggest competition is paper. My biggest competition is chit. And if I'm able to reduce 10% of the paper from Pakistani homes, I can save 14 million trees. It's about going green. It's about going digital. It's about taking financial inclusion to a completely next level in a way like never before. If today you ask me, based on close to 400,000 engagements that I have, I can tell you how many people use tea, how many people use milk, which brand of milk. I can tell you which shop they buy from. I can tell you the patterns of what's there in Defense and Gulshan and Gulistan-e-Johar and North Karachi. I can give you all those numbers through data that we are collecting from the source. So it's also about going green. It's also about environment. It's also about documenting. So if at the end of this presentation, those of you who are on Android have not downloaded the app, I've done a bad job. Download it, use it. Next time you hear Hisab Kitab in your home, do remember there is a product from Pakistan which will, inshallah, be a global product. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.